Hello, I'm Alfie Delete, and welcome to my Stellaris United Nations of Earth playthrough. Today, we are going to see how humanity fares in the galaxy, and you have a chance to sway the game. That's right, in between each video in my YouTube community post, there will be a poll, and you can vote on how you would like to see the outcome of a situation that's presented there. Guys, without wasting any more time, let's get this started. And so here we got our starting screen. We're going to go ahead and start a new game, and I'm going to scroll here past all of my created empires that I made. And if you guys have played Stellaris before, whether it's your first time or you've been playing for a long time, you may have come across this empire, the United Nations of Earth. And I've played with this empire a bunch of times. It's probably one of my favorite empires. There's just something about playing with humans in sci-fi games that I enjoy, and seeing how they react to other aliens. And so today we're going to be starting off with this empire, and I'm going to click on this edit button here, and we're just going to go down this and kind of look at some of the important stats and things about this empire, and just get a quick look at who we're playing with before we start this playthrough here. And so here, we have our humanoid species that we have for our portrait. Species name, it's all us, we're humans, and so all that's going to be the same. For my name list, I always like to clear out the name list and just kind of have their names appear here. That's just my personal preference. Now, for their traits, we have 3 traits. We have the first one being adaptive, which is going to cost me 2 trait points, and that is going to increase my habitability by 10% for my species. Next up, we have nomadic. Now, with this species, it says is a nomadic past, or they have a nomadic past, and its members often think nothing of relocating to another world. This trait will increase my species pop growth from immigration, and it'll decrease my resettlement cost by 25%. And then last, we have our only negative trait. My human species will be wasteful, and so that is going to cost us -1 points, and it's going to increase my pop's consumer good upkeep by 10%. And so we'll look at a little bit of that stuff later on in the game. Let's go ahead and look at our name and class here. Oops, I double click there. So yeah, we are starting just with an Earth-like planet in the Sol system. We'll keep the humanoid city background. And then for the origin that I'm going to be starting with here, we are starting with prosperous unification. And so, like I said before, guys, we're not going to change too much of this stuff, but it says here that through its strife and triumphs, this society has reached every young civilization's ambition. A homeworld with unified goals and a path open to the stars. And so this origin is going to start the game with an additional 4 pops and with an additional 2 districts. And then after that, we have our ethics. And so right now I have the xenophile ethics selected, which will increase opinion with other species, and we will get extra envoys and increase trade value. Over here on the right, we have the fanatic egalitarian, and this is this pretty much increases my faction unity gain and my specialist pop resource output by 10%. Now, I've been using this one a little bit more frequently with some of my playthroughs just because of the faction unity gain. Factions produce unity, and you use unity for traditions or to recruit or hire other leaders in your leader pool to do things in your government. But unity is going to be very important, and this makes it a little bit easier for us to get even more unity from our factions later on in the game. For my authority, we are a democratic empire, and that means that we'll be holding an election every 10 years for a new ruler. Also, this adds another automatic resettlement chance for by 50%. And then last but not least, we have our civics in this government and ethics tab, the beacon of liberty. So this society is a shining beacon of light in a sea of darkness. Liberty and individual freedoms are held in the highest regard here. And so with this first civic that we have, it'll increase our monthly unity by 15%, and our empire size from pops will be decreased by 15%. And then second, and again, guys, I'm not picking these. It's just how the pre-made empire is set up, is the idealistic foundation. And this increases my citizens' pop happiness by 10%. And so after that, we got our advisor voice, which
nothing is impossible to those who would try.
I'm gonna keep it at that for now. Empire name is going to stay the same. United Nations of Earth. We are humans again. We got our flag here, which I'm gonna keep the same as well. I always like this pretty cool flag. And then for the humanoid ship, that's going to be our ship appearances here. And you guys, if you hear that if you created a couple of empires before in the past, you can look at what the humanoid ship types look like. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next here. We have our ruler, and I'm gonna make her Yang, so it's easier to keep up with. So President Yang here is our first ruler. I might just keep everything the same for now. Maybe change the... Oh, that's changing her eye color. I always like this one. It looks like a comfy sweater, a space sweater there for our first president. And let's go ahead and get our game started and look at... I don't know why I saved this. It's all the same already. Let's look at our game details next. And so I'm going to go ahead and reset this all to default for now. My galaxy size is going to stay at medium. For the galaxy shape, let's select, let's try out the cartwheel galaxy shape. This is one of the newer shapes in the 3.6 Orion update. Stellaris just recently just released a couple of weeks ago. For our AI empires, I always like to turn this up. We're going to keep this at about 15. The advanced AI starts. We'll start with, let's go with 3 advanced AI. We'll have 3 fallen empires, and I'll put it down to 1 marauder empire. Now, the rest of this stuff, tech tradition cost, habitable worlds, primitive civilization, and crisis strength. I'm actually going to turn the crisis strength up to, we'll turn it up to like, let's go to 2. I still, combat, I'm still working on getting better at that, but the crisis strength I'll keep at 2 for now. For my crisis type, we're going to go with all. That's another new feature that just came out recently where you can go up against 3 crisis in a playthrough if you make it past them all. Our mid-game start year, I'm going to move this to 2275, and for the in-game start year, we're going to push it up 25 years, and so the year 2375 will be the in-game start year. Victory year, I'll keep the same. Difficulty, it's at cadet right now, but I'm going to turn it up to captain. So the AI will get a slight bonus to its economy, research, and naval capacity. Other than that, there's probably one more thing I'm going to change here. We'll put guaranteed habitable worlds. We'll turn that down to 1. Carabineers I'll keep on, and L gates, oh yeah, I'll keep those on as well. It was the Xeno capability. I usually turn this off to decrease laggage later on in the game. But yeah, other than that, this is all good to go. And guys, as always, I love playing on Iron Man mode, and so every decision I make will be finalized. This will also make the game eligible for achievements, and we are going to be getting our game started. Now, before we get this thing started, hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. I know we haven't got it started yet, but if you would like to, feel free to leave comments below if there's anything I can improve on. In my past couple of videos, I have seen you guys leaving comments. I appreciate those times a million. Whether you're critiquing me, giving me tips, giving me tricks, showing me something I'm doing wrong, I always appreciate the feedback. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. We have our United Nations of Earth origin here. And so much has happened since modern humans first emerged in Africa some 200,000 years ago. Our kind spread rapidly across the globe, and soon the first civilizations took form. Scientific progress has been swift, though not without cost. Wars claimed millions of lives even before the atom was tamed. And the turmoil of the 21st century saw the mandate of the United Nations gradually expanded in an effort to create stability. By the early 22nd century, the supranational organization had become a de facto world government. Though some still resent the power wielded by the United Nations, as evidence during the, Mortarian police action of '88, few can deny the technological breakthroughs that have come out of its sponsored research programs. With the recent completion of the first true starships, mankind is about to embark on a new era of space exploration. And so let's go ahead and begin our game here, and let's go back. Here is planet Earth. And so the first thing I usually try to do is get a building built on here. But the thing is that buildings cost minerals. And right now I only have 100. And so what I'll do is I'll go through here and maybe sell some of my alloys. We'll sell some consumer goods. Make sure we build up some energy credits here. And about 400 minerals should be enough for me to build my first building. Now, I'm going to look at how much of these resources I am currently bringing in per month. And you know what? One thing that I want to try and focus on early game is building up our naval cap and building up a fleet so that we can defend ourselves early on, just in case we come across any threats in the galaxy. And then after that, I'm actually going to try something out a little bit different here. Hold that thought. I was going to try to build a building that produces consumer goods or Unity. Yeah, these are the only two Unity buildings that I have, and both of them cost minerals, of course, and they have an upkeep of consumer goods. Now, like this building here, it has a upkeep of 4 consumer goods. I'm only bringing in 2 consumer goods per month right now, and so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit before we build those types of buildings. But yeah, right now I have this soldier job on the way, and since we started with the prosperous unification, we're gonna start with more pops on our planet than some of the other origins. And so right off the back, you're going to see here that I have 1 available job on this planet. That's why I'm going to add this building first. And if I could, I wish I could, I can't right now, but I will be adding a district a little bit later on. And so I'll probably add a industrial district so we can get some more consumer goods, build another building. But until then, we're going to wait and look at our technology next. Now, we're going to see how long it's going to take to research some of these, but for starters, I'm going to go with quantum theory next. I don't have a lot of scientists, but I will try to increase their output. You want to get that tech score up quickly because you see, like right here, if I were to research this, this is going to take me 91 months to research. That is a long time. And so the sooner we can get our tech up, the better. Society, you know, it's same thing. Society research for researchers will be increased. And for engineering, I actually don't see one. Oh, here it is. Nanomechanics. Again, increasing researcher output. And so we got technology squared away. We're going to take a quick peek at our policies here. And the main thing I try to look at, I really don't even like mess with any of this in the early game until I have to, but our diplomatic stance is set to expansionist, and I'm going to definitely be expanding in this video today. But everything else looks pretty much okay. Yeah, just to do a quick skim through those. For my edicts, I usually don't have the edict that I'm looking for right now, but these are the 2 edicts that I have at the moment. I could select one of these, but I'm gonna hold off for now. Try to save up some Unity to recruit another scientist. Now, I'm gonna zoom all the way out here. And again, guys, we are playing with a cartwheel-shaped galaxy, and it looks like I have started over here on the top right side. And wow, yo, we started right in a choke point system. And so this could be a very interesting start right here. Off to the edge, I see that, I mean, both ways are good directions to explore to and hopefully expand our borders to. But for my scientists here, I see that there is a habitable world here. This is a size 15 continental world. And we're going to go ahead and survey that one first. And while we're at it, I'm just going to go ahead and send my science ship down and just start surveying in this direction. Now, in the early game, I try not to have my my science ships kind of cross paths. So let's say I just decided to send my science ship from my home system up here down to here. I wouldn't want them to go here and then go back over in this direction towards these systems over here. Instead, I'm just going to have them work their way down to the bottom side of this galaxy, and then I'll build another science ship, have them go in the opposite. That way we're not burning any time going back into the same direction. And so we're gonna go ahead and start our game here. That's pretty much all I can do for the time being here. I could mess with some of my ships here. I've been actually watching some videos on how to design your ships and stuff, and I still haven't fully grasped it yet, but I am working on it, guys, and hopefully I will be able to get a little bit better at ship design. But if you guys want to leave some comments below, let me know. Give me some tips and tricks on how to build better fleets. And so, like I said before, we are going to be trying to increase our naval cap as much as possible. Like I said, I spent all my resources earlier on trying to build a building on my homeworld. We got a science ship moving around, and let me check my shipyard here. And I'm going to see how much. So a Corvette costs about 100 alloys, okay? A science ship costs, pretty much all of our ships cost around 100 alloys minus my colony ship. And so I'll have to wait until I get that Let's see if I can just buy some really quick. I can. Bingo. All right, so let's go ahead and get a science ship on the way. And by the time that science ship is finished, I should be able to recruit another scientist and add them to my leader pool. All right, and so we have our second science ship out the way there, and let's go ahead and build or recruit another leader here. And so we got a couple of options. I'm looking at Hasty up here and Niraj. Niraj has the roamer trait. I like that. And this resilient trait, look, I used to just kind of skim past this a while back, but with your leaders and in order to recruit them, you have to have that unity, which makes unity more important of a resource. I used to just kind of look past resilient, but now I think this is a valuable trait in playthroughs these days because it increases their lifespan. And so if you're playing with an organic species, if they die, that will cost you more unity if you want to replace that leader there. And so I'm going to go with roamer for now because they have the plus 25% survey speed modifier from their trait. And this is going to be the second scientist that I send in the opposite direction. And I'm going to have them check out this cluster over here. And so all I'm doing is just planning their course. And for this video, I'm probably just going to skip past some of these situations that pop up, just because we're going to try to move through this playthrough and just kind of make some things happen in the galaxy. We will be coming back to some of the situations. One thing I like to do is in the early game, mostly focus on exploring the galaxy, finding potential habitable worlds to colonize, if not sooner than later. And then after that, just find systems, find other alien empires out there. And so, yeah, so far everything's looking pretty decent. I have enough minerals now that I should be able to build a mining station and I can build a research station both. And so we'll go ahead and begin exploiting these energy credits, minerals, and engineering deposits in my soul system.
System survey concluded.
All right, and so we got the first system surveyed, Bernard Star over here, and it doesn't have a lot of resources in it. And so I'm going to hold off before I send my construction ship into this system until we see what is in these two systems. But here we go. Nothing yet. No habitable worlds that we have detected so far, but it is a binary system right here. And over here we have the Alpha Centauri system, Alpha Centauri A. Yeah, we're still surveying here, but I will be looking to expand in this direction first since there is a habitable world there. Now, we have our first tradition available. We got a lot of options to start with, and for my empire, we're going to go with discovery. Now, it says here for this tradition, our curiosity about the universe is what got us this far, and there is still so much left to discover. This will unlock the edict, Map the Stars, and it will increase my anomaly research speed by 20%. This is usually one of the traditions that I start with, and we'll go ahead and select this one now so that we can survey the galaxy a little bit faster. And so that Map the Stars edict will be available here in the next month once I accumulate some more unity. But once we select this edict, it'll increase my survey speed by 25%, increase anomaly discovery chance by 10%, and it'll add 1 ship hyperlane detection range. And so whenever like for instance, this science ship right here, whenever it travels to this system, it'll be able to see 1 system away, and we could see what other, whether it be planets, just giving us a little bit more intel on nearby systems that we have not explored or surveyed yet. All right, and so we're gonna keep our game going here. We've now surveyed 2 systems. Holy moly, and that is not what I was expecting right off the back. We have encountered another alien, and we have contact reports. The United Nations of Earth has finally encountered fellow wanderers among the stars. Despite their intentions being unknown and potentially even hostile, the atmosphere of Earth following the reports of our contact fleet can best be described as rapturous. All right, so let's see what we have over here. Okay, and I'm not seeing where that was, whatever that was that we encountered. They may have left the system here, but let's go ahead and send a envoy to initiate first contact protocols here. And the aliens, they're now in the, oh yeah, they're in the system we're in right now, but we've given them the code name Griffins. All right, so I got about 200 alloys. I'm gonna use all of that to buy 2 corvettes, and we got our first contact protocol here. This is going to allow us to decide how we want to interact with other empires. when we first meet them. And so our recent encounter with the alien life forms has reignited and made suddenly more urgent the old debate on how we should approach contacting any potentially intelligent alien civilizations we may meet. While some advocate focusing on establishing friendly relations as quickly as possible by contacting them with a message of peace, others advise caution, pointing out that we cannot know whether alien minds bear ill intent towards us and that it would be unwise to let them know too much about us before it is necessary. And so I'm going to try and be friendly with some of the other AI. This will allow us to gain 50% more influence from each successful first contact process. All right, and so this is also going to increase first contact discovery speed. And so we shall greet the Xenos with open arms. Oh, and we have the gunner situation here. All right, and so one of my scientist crew are eager to report that they have uncovered the remains of an ancient spacefaring species on the planet P1002, who appear to have inhabited the planet some several million years ago. While it is unclear, this species, who called themselves the Grunner, disappeared from the Procrin system. Our scientists have isolated a promising archaeological dig site on their planet. Perhaps further study will yield more clues, and so that is going to be our first dig site there, and that is interesting.
System survey concluded.
All right, and so we just surveyed the Alpha Centauri system here. It is a 90% habitable world. Is that? Okay, I was going to say, I thought that was better than my Empire's capital here, but no, our Empire's capital is at 100%. That world is at a 90% habitability rate right there. And for my planet here, this is interesting. I thought I had a... Did I not just build a stronghold building there? I'm not sure. I may or may not have made a mistake here, but I'm going to, and I usually do, replace the commercial zone buildings because trade value, I'd rather have an energy grid building or just use one of these generator districts which produce more energy credits, because trade value right now, the way I'm using it, is to convert it into energy credits. And so I can probably utilize a building slot a little bit better than the commercial zones, but we're gonna go ahead and replace this building here. And I'm going to build a stronghold so that we can increase our naval capacity. So right now it's at 28. I want that to be a little bit higher, and I'm gonna start eventually building more ships here in the future. I feel like I would rather try to prepare myself with a first contact situation being so close so early. Wow, look how long that hyperlane is right there. Oh, and we found another potentially habitable world, a size 25 tundra world here. And so within 1 year, or 2 years at least, of being in this game so far, we have found we found one habitable world and a second world that is potentially habitable and much, much bigger than our home world right now. A size 25 world looks very nice for us. And so I'm definitely going to go ahead and start expanding towards that area. And on top of that, yeah, this whole outside lane right now, this bottom area is going to be very good, because what I see right now is that this is all one long choke point. There's another choke point right here that I'm going to try to get my empire to expand their borders to, and we'll see how far down this goes. And then over here, yeah, it kind of expands out a little bit, but we'll still be looking to expand here and maybe get a cluster or two if it's possible. And so, yeah, this Procyon system, it looks very, very nutritional. There are energy credits, tech deposits, exotic gas resources, trade value. And so that is definitely going to be a priority system for my empire here in the future. We have our second tradition now available. And this right here, to boldly go, we're going to continue with the discovery tree. It says here, a new age of exploration is upon us. As we once mapped the surface of our homeworld, we must now brave new terrain. Space. There's a galaxy full of wonder waiting to be discovered. And so this tradition is going to, once again, increase my survey speed by another 35% and increase my science ship disengagement chance by 50%. And so, yeah, that is going to be a nice first tradition in the discovery tree to select. I see that I now have 5 ships in my naval capacity. After a couple more systems
Construction
here, I'll start
completed.
automating my science ships. And guys, we have just expanded to the first system outside of my home world here. And so the Alpha Centauri system is the next system that is in my border now. And you can see the United Nations of Earth has expanded for the first time in our existence here. And so something waits in the Pharathon system. Where is this located? That's once again back on this left side of my empire over here. All right, guys, and so we have the Vile Tunnel here. It says something waits in the Pharathon system, a Viled passage cut from the fabric of space-time, its horizon rippling with psionic energy. Sensor data is erratic, and the crew of our science vessels reports strange disturbances, wildly visceral dreams, a persistent sense of being watched, fitful hallucinations. Despite the frustrating lack of useful telemetry, it seems clear we have stumbled on a tunnel through uncharted reaches. A dangerous path, yet the rewards may be great. On the tunnel's far side lies a distant corner of the galaxy. And so here at some point in the game, we're going to find out what mysteries lie beyond the veil. And this is going to open up another encounter. And I'm going to imagine this is probably, here's the system with the Shroud Tunnel. I'm going to imagine that's a Enclave, and it sure is. We're going to start a first contact situation with these guys and figure out who that Enclave is. But yeah, we have now found an Enclave that is about 4 systems away from my homeworld. I have my third science ship that has been created. Let's go ahead and recruit another leader here. I'm going to have to wait a month to increase my unity here, but once we do, I'm looking at this I'm just going to call her Walkie. She has the maniacal trait that increases research speed by 5%. And there we go. I have now recruited her into my leader pool. And I'm actually going to check my technology here. And I'm going to replace Abla here. She has the adaptable trait, which I think would be better suited in a science ship rather than exploring, or not exploring, but researching technology. And so let's replace her with our new scientist who has this research speed trait. And that scientist is now going to have a bonus. Oh, actually, her scientist skill is only going to add 2%. Oh, no, maniacal will add that 5%. But since she's only level 1, she has a scientist level at 2%. Now, this scientist here, with these scientists, I try to like match traits with the subject that they are researching. And so in this case, this scientist here, Audrey, has the expertise in biology. And she's researching a technology that is in the biology field. And so that's going to give her a nice research bonus in that category. Now, here we have a scientist that has an expertise in engineering. You can tell by this little yellow icon, same thing with the blue. But hers is a expertise in voidcraft, and she's researching a industry technology. And so she's not going to get the same bonus that she would if she was researching something that was a voidcraft type of engineering technology. And so this is why it's a little important for you to like decide how you want your researchers to research your technology, which ones you want to research what technology, and things like that. And so good thing to keep an eye out for. Now for my scientists here, I'm actually going to send this scientist over in this direction because I want to make sure that if there are any empires over here, we will begin colonizing, or not colonizing, but expanding our borders in this direction next. And so the more science ships I like to have a decent amount of science ships early on so that we can survey more systems faster. Now, we just found a natural wormhole here, and it says we have detected what appears to be a natural occurring subspace phenomena on the edge of wow, there's a lot going on in this system here. Right here with these icons, this system, we found an Enclave, we found a Shroud Tunnel, and now the system has a wormhole in it. It says a rift in the very fabric of space-time has formed here, creating a wormhole that our scientists speculate may provide a conduit through subspace to another wormhole located somewhere else in the galaxy. Depending on where the second wormhole is located, this could potentially allow ships to travel from one end of the galaxy to the other in a matter of days. Unfortunately, this wormhole, like the vast majority of its kind, is inherently unstable. Any vessels foolish enough to pass through it would be ripped apart in seconds. And we will have to research some technology later on in this game to figure out how to stabilize that wormhole. All right, and so yeah, this system has a Shroud Tunnel, a wormhole. I don't know if they count that as a wormhole. Because yeah, I'm not seeing the wormhole anywhere in this system. And so I'm wondering if they count that as the wormhole. But yeah, that's the Shroud Tunnel, and we'll dive into the Shroud a little bit later on in this game. We may have to become, not have to, but we may become psionic, I'm not sure. But right now, it looks like we got a head start on that because we may get a chance to research some psionic theory in the future. But that's all future 10 stuff. We'll wait until we get there. My president, President Yang, has fulfilled their mandate. As per our president's mandate, additional mining stations have been constructed. And so with me being a democratic empire and us electing a new leader every 10 years, every time you do elect a new leader, you will have a mandate that you must fulfill. And with that mandate, you will gain unity if you fulfill it. And so if not, I think there'll be like a slight modifier to your pops. Like I think they'll maybe lose a little bit of happiness, but no, yeah, I always try to fulfill those mandates with my rulers and the democratic empires here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and continue our game here. It looks like this cluster is, it doesn't have any intelligent species out there just yet, but we got a first contact situation going on here with the Griffin species, one of the first species we've encountered. And it says the public has been informed of a potential first contact scenario with the Procreon system, where the presence of an unidentified spacecraft was registered. Early data suggests that this vessel is capable of hyperspace travel and likely originates from a previously unknown alien civilization. Representatives from all branches of the government are being briefed on this developing situation, as well as our ongoing efforts to translate their language. We're going to keep at it, and this is sort of like a shadow of what we think the aliens look like. That could change here in the future. But what I'm going to do now is, now that we're getting a little bit closer to figuring out who this alien species is. All right, and I see here that we have another potentially habitable world. This one's sitting at 19, a size 19 habitable world. And here is that other alien species here. And so, yeah, that is definitely a science ship. I'm going to imagine there is an empire somewhere in this area on our left side. And we have another tradition available. So I'm going to actually try something out a little bit differently here. So normally when I start a tradition tree, I try to finish it. I try not to go in between two traditions here. But for my next tradition, I'm going to go for supremacy. It says here that if we adopt this, or no, hold on, before we adopt it, the future of the galaxy belongs to those who are strong enough to seize it. This will increase my naval capacity by 20 and my army damage by 20%. Now, I'm selecting this right now because we are starting to find more species out there. Very early as well, and with me having some advanced AI in the game, like I said before, guys, I want to make sure that I am more ready than rather having to prepare in case we encounter a hostile alien species. And so I'm just going to add a few more construction ships to my fleet, and we're going to keep this thing moving here. Let me check out planet Earth here. So yeah, this planet right now has one available job. I have enough minerals right now that I can build another building here. And since we have such low amenities, I'm going to go ahead and build a holo theater, since the entertainers they turn consumer goods into unity and amenities. And again, amenities are they represent how happy your pops are and their day-to-day needs of the population. And so I've actually tried something a little different here. Usually I'll replace the trade hub with a research lab, which we did, but I have 2 strongholds on my empire capital very early. All right, and so another thing I'm gonna do as well is, after we built the holo theater, I see that we do have a couple of districts that are not clear. I'm gonna check out my planet's features here, and oh, I need more energy credits here. And so let me sell some food really fast. There we go. And hopefully that's enough for me to clear out. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and clear out one of the tile blockers. That way we can build some more districts here in the future. But yeah, I may build a city district next when the time comes. That way we can open up another building slot on planet Earth. All right, so yeah, guys, over here on the left side, we have a lot of alien activity. We are still expanding down here right now, and I'm going to continue doing so. I want to expand my borders to this Sao Zuno system next. And so I'm going to go ahead and send my construction ship there. I can't expand yet because I have not surveyed the system, but once my science ship finishes surveying, my construction ship will already be in orbit of this system. Hopefully there's no aliens there, and we will claim this. And I'll come back to these next 2 systems here. It's kind of hard to see here, but I have like a cluster of systems here. Here we go. Oh, nice. No aliens here. But yeah, I'll come back to these systems a little bit later on. Save my influence right now to expand outward and get as much as I can. Now this is the Nixie's first contact situation. I'm not going to read through all of the first contact situations. For now, I'm going to start with the Griffins, since I believe they are going to be a intelligent species. I mean, sure, the Enclave are intelligent as well, but an empire. And so I'm trying to only read the empire, the first empire that I encounter here for our first contact here. And so I have my second construction ship. I'm going to send them in this direction as well. And we're going to begin our first expansion to the left side of the galaxy here. And so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This is what our empire looks like so far. Like I said, we've grown just a little bit, and we are going to continue expanding right now as much as we can.
System survey.
All right, so we got another project there. Let's go ahead and see if, yeah. So map the stars, it's still active. We're gonna keep that active for now. Our scientists are beginning to get a little bit further away from our borders here. I have 3 scientists at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. And we have now created our first 10 ships here. And so, like I said before, we're gonna keep on adding more to my fleet. And in this playthrough, I'm definitely gonna be as prepared as I can be to defend our borders. Now, speaking of defending my borders, I have 2 star bases that I can build at the moment, and I'm going to start building those a little bit closer to my home system. And so I'm going to build a star base in this Alpha Centauri system. That way I keep it close to where my main star base is going to be at in my home system. That way, if we're attacked, if I lose a couple of my outside systems, that's okay. Well, really, it's not okay, but I'd rather be able to defend from the inside outward. That way, that the further they get within my empire, the more of a challenge it is going to be to attack us. And so I'd rather have my star bases a little bit closer to my home world, especially in this case, since we started off in a choke point that leads to 2 different directions. My main plan here is to have a star base in this system and the Alpha Centauri system down here as well. And so it's just going to be like a little 3 system collection of defensive star bases to protect my homeland here. Now, for my science ships, I'm just going to have them go ahead and start automatically exploring the galaxy here. That way we can save some time here by letting them just automate themselves. And I'm going to build another star base. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and build the star base here. I still have about 54 influence, and I think it cost us somewhere around, let me see how much it costs to expand our borders. All right, so it's going to cost me about 63 influence, which I'm bringing in 3 per month. And so by the time my science ship down here on the bottom of the galaxy finishes surveying the system, we will have enough time to build a base over there. And so I completely just missed out on that first contact there. And as I suspected, there is another empire over here. Okay. Oh, this is another empire that we have found. The fairies. Wow. So yeah, we have an empire that is a little close to comfort for us. And here we are back with the Griffins. It says, our attempts to learn more about the Griffins have so far been in vain. While we were easily able to ascertain that they clearly form part of a technologically advanced alien civilization, further facts have proven, elusive as they seem to be, going to considerable efforts to prevent us from any other eavesdroppers from intercepting any signals from them. We have therefore only managed to intercept small fragments of their language so far. However, from the glimpses we have gleaned, our linguists are confident that they have been able to decipher their communications if we can just acquire greater sample size. And so we're going to have to keep on trying, but we are getting closer. Oh, they look like humans. What? And they're hostile. So this is exactly why I was trying to build up a fleet here. And guys, we have a hostile empire nearby. And so that is worrisome here. And I'm going to try and get some more alloys. That way we can build our first outpost. Let's see if we can upgrade this outpost into a star base or a starport. I'm going to need 17 more alloys. All right, so there we go. That should be enough. And we're going to upgrade this immediately. All right, and so the Bernard Star, this system is going to be very important for my empire. We're going to have to make sure that is as defensive as possible.
Construction completed.
And now this is where I start to, whenever I encounter an alien empire, I try to build in their direction That way we can claim any systems before they expand here. And I want to see if, I see there's this yellow ship here. That's from the Griffins again. There we go. And I believe that's a science ship right there. And so the Griffins are definitely surveying these systems just like us. And I'm actually not going to expand here just yet. I'm going to try and take as many of these systems nearby as possible. And so I've already surveyed some of these. Now I'm going to go ahead and expand here first, since this system has a shroud tunnel in it and a archaeological dig site as well. All right, so back to the Griffins. We're in the next stage of our first contact here, and it says the language of the Griffins contains millions of seemingly redundant sounds, apparently dialect hangovers from their precursor civilizations. When translated, these apparently superfluous filler words seem to serve no purpose other than to add linguistic flavor, or at most have any minor contextual implications. Thankfully, our linguists have narrowed down the obsolete aspects of their language and are now compiling a abridged lexicon which should prove very useful for efficient communication with this species. And so this is going to add 3 more insight, and we are one step closer to figuring out who this hostile species is. And so it's going to be a matter of time. I wonder, guys, what do you guys think? Is it going to be a advanced AI empire? Is it going to be a fallen empire? I feel like I don't encounter many human fallen empires in my playthrough, and so if that does happen, that'll be pretty interesting. And so again, yeah, I have my other construction ship in this system. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and send them backwards, and I'm going to have them mine in this system until we accumulate some more influence for them to expand. But for now, our next expansion is going to be this Procyon system that has the dig site. I definitely want to secure that, and then we'll try and take this system as well.
Concluded.
Oh, and one of their systems also has a dig site as well that we're not going to be able to research since it is in their borders. All right, so let's go ahead and look at our next tradition here. We're going to, like I said, I usually try to complete one tree at a time, but since we do have a hostile empire next to us, I'm going to try and work my way through this supremacy tradition tree here. And the next one I'm going to go with is the master shipwrights tradition. The ever-increasing scope of our shipbuilding programs have led us to the creation of highly skilled and efficient labor forces at our shipyards. Methods have continually been refined, and the time it takes to go from hull plating to a completed shipyard is now shorter than ever before. This tradition is going to increase my ship's building speed by 25% and decrease the cost by 10%. And so that is going to be very useful to my empire. Earlier in the game, it's going to make our ships a little bit cheaper. And so before it cost my ships 100 alloys, now it costs them 90 alloys. And so we're going to build a starbase around this one next. And let's check out our first technology that we're going to research here. I think I may go with the miners and increase their output. So right now they're producing 5.6 minerals, and we'll come back and see how much it'll increase the mining or minerals from miners by 20% and minerals from starbase constructions by 10%. And see, this is why I thought that first technology was going to increase the speed at which I researched these, but you know what? Let me go back. Since this is a scientist that has the expertise in voidcraft, I'm just going to go with the carrier operations instead, since this is a voidcraft technology. And wow, that is actually going to take longer, so never mind. We're going to go with geothermal fracking for now. We are going to try and be prepared for these guys. And this is not the Griffins, but we have made contact with the Shroud Walkers. And so let's see if they want to talk.
An alien nation is hailing us.
And they say, "Ah, a visitor. Welcome. We are the Shroud Walkers. Within this void-born hole, our coven communes with forces incomprehensible to most mortal minds. We contemplate the secrets that lie hidden in dreams, reservoirs of untapped potential, the unseen gears driving whole civilizations. The Shroud reveals much to those who would listen. At this moment, I listen to you. What brings you to us? Do you yet know?" And I think asking what is our fate, it's a little too soon for that because that's going to cost me some energy credits here. And so we're going to consider something else. We're actually going to come back to the Shroud a little bit later on. And so you do have options here. You can ask them if they are willing to send you a teacher, or you can have them tell you about travel via the Shroud, which is the wormhole that we found in their system here. And so we made contact with the Enclave here in this Pharathon system.
That's
going to be actually the first empire we made contact with. But I'm going to continue here until we reach the Griffin Empire and try and get some more information about this empire on our left side. I think right now they are the biggest threat to humanity, and we are not going to take that lightly. And so it looks like they've already built a... Yeah, they've built a base here. So yeah, this system has already been claimed. Now we just completed our society research. And next up, we're going to go for the ground defense planning. Now, this technology is going to increase my naval capacity from soldier jobs by 2 and increase defense army damage by 33. So we're definitely going to take that and utilize that or have that be a nice little bonus with the supremacy tradition tree that we have here. And so for now, it looks like this is going to be the furthest we can expand in this direction. There are actually 2 empires in this area, and so I'm going to start a second second first contact situation here. Actually, I'm going to put all my envoys to use here. We're just going to go ahead and figure out who all of these empires are. But in the meantime, we still primarily want to figure out who this Griffin species is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and the science ship or the construction ship that I have down here at the bottom of my empire. I'm now going to send them to this next system, and we're going to continue expanding down in this direction and utilizing these choke point systems. All right, guys, and so we are like 7 years into the game right now. We've expanded our borders to a couple of systems here. We have a huge alien presence going on in this direction, and we have made contact with the Griffins. So our efforts to decipher the signals picked up from the Griffins have paid off, and we have finally made a breakthrough. While our mastery of their language may not be complete, we have managed to successfully open diplomatic channels with the civilization we know to be the Yldaran Regime. And so we're going to ask to put them on screen. We gained some influence from that, and we just completed our first contact protocol with a empire. All right, and so this is the information we have on these guys. They are a military dictatorship. Their empire is a hegemonic imperialist empire. The ethics they have, they're fanatic militarist, and they are materialist. And this is what they say. I bring greetings from the Grand Marshal Ratu Talgun, the undisputed ruler of the Yldaran Regime. Respect our borders and keep out of our affairs, and perhaps our mighty fleets will refrain from visiting your worlds. And I'm going to respond with a positive response here so that we can hopefully make their opinion of us a little bit better when we first meet them. And we're going to say, we are delighted to meet you, Yerdars. And so yeah, the news that we have encountered intelligent alien life for the first time is spreading like wildfire. Throughout the United Nations of Earth, our citizens are fascinated by the beings, and the media is full of reports of speculation on their culture and society. The revelation that we are not alone in this galaxy has largely been greeted with celebration on Earth. Just like us, the aliens appear to be relative newcomers to our galactic stage, and their level of technology is similar to our own, and so that is some good news right there. Looks like we are on equal. This is not an advanced AI, and so this is a momentous occasion. And let's see if we can see what their borders look like. Oh, nice. Our empire looks like it's bigger than theirs. And so let's check them out. Right now, they are currently wary of us, but this is a relationship that looks like it could be easily manipulated to make them our friends. And so I'm going to use one of my 3 envoys here, the one that just finished this first contact situation, and I'm going to have them improve relations with these guys. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We have made contact with the Yldaran Regime Empire. We have a decent chance. Oh, I just realized here, they are belligerent. That's their diplomatic stance, and so they will attempt to bully weaker empires, but we'll see how this turns out, guys. Will the Yldarans, will they be friendly? Will they be foes? How will this affect the United Nations of Earth? Stay tuned for our next video, and if you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like.